Hello and welcome to today's webinar on Back to the Basics, the newsletter. My name is Rob Widmeyer, a Senior Client Success Rep here at AdvisorStream. Our focus is helping financial advisors and broker-dealers leverage digital marketing to drive client growth and enrich relationships. In today's webinar, I will be covering one of the most important topics to optimizing your account use, editing your weekly newsletter. We will be taking a look at how to use the report section to identify top performing content, how to find similar content in the AdvisorStream library, and finally, review the newsletter builder in order to edit your newsletter and incorporate this content. Let's jump into an account. Where we are going to start today is in the AdvisorStream report section. You can access this from any page on the platform by heading to the top of your screen and clicking on Reports in the purple bar. Once in the report section, you will notice that we break up the reports by the three main types of communication at AdvisorStream, but for today's video, we will be focusing on the newsletter side of things. Right below, you will also see an area to adjust the date range of your reports, and this will be beneficial and allow you to get a wider sample size when looking at your top performing content. Once you've adjusted your date range, we can scroll past the summary at the top as well as the bar graphs below. This will bring us to the section with your top performing content. By default, we will be looking at the top individual articles and how many views they have, but for today's purposes, we will focus on the top publishers, which will allow you to see which publications your investors are most interested in, and the top topics, which will show you your investors' real-time focus and what resonates with them. You may want to consider searching for content from the top publications and the top performing topics to help increase your content engagement. To make this easy, you can simply click on the name of a publisher or a topic tag, which will bring you right back to the main library with it already sorted to only display articles that fit your selection, such as choosing career. From here, you can further narrow down your results by incorporating some of the top publishers or other topics from your report section. To do this, on the left-hand side of your library, you'll see our full list of publishers, as well as below that, all of our different topic tags. And by clicking on any of the publishers or different tags, you'll further sort the library to only show you the types of articles you wish to see. Once you have found an article that you like, a great feature is the ability to hover over the article and click the star. This is going to save that article in your favorites, which will allow you to very easily retrieve it in the future on the left-hand side right up at the top there. For those of you under a compliance workflow, another tag you may wish to incorporate is the approved option. This way, the only articles the system will show you are articles that your compliance department has already reviewed and given their stamp of approval on, meaning the article will not have to be reviewed again if you wish to add it to your newsletter or any sort of direct email. Once you've located the articles you wish to add into the newsletter, we're now ready to make the edits. To do this, we first have to find this week's newsletter, which will always be located in your outbox. To access the outbox, you can simply scroll to the top of your screen and click on Outbox in the purple bar. Now, depending on your level of automation, your newsletter may appear in one of two places. If you're on the semi-automated setting, you'll find your newsletter in the Awaiting Approval tab. However, if you're on the fully automated or the not automated option, yours will be in the In Progress tab. Once you've found the newsletter you wish to edit, by hovering over that newsletter, on the right-hand side, you'll notice a number of icons appear. The pencil and paper option will be your edit button, and by clicking edit, that will bring us into the newsletter builder, and by default, we'll be looking at the preview tab. To make any edits, we'll go from left to right up at the top and start in the articles tab. With the articles tab, this will show you each and every one of the articles that was in this newsletter by default. If there are any articles you wish to remove, very easily, you can click the X, and that will take that article right out for you. You can even click X on multiple articles if there's a couple that you wanted to remove. Once you've removed all the articles that you don't want, we can then go and add the articles that you do by clicking Add Articles right at the bottom of the screen. This will bring you right back to the home page of AdvisorStream, where you then have all of those same searching and sorting features if you want to find some new articles. However, in our case, we have saved one into our favorites, which will make it very easy to retrieve in the future. By simply clicking on that article, we'll get a green box around it, letting us know that it's been selected and ready to add to the newsletter. And you can do that for multiple articles. So if there's more than one you wish to add, you can do it all at once. Once you do have them all selected, we can then click Launch Builder in the bottom left corner, and that's going to bring us right back into the Articles tab with those new articles that we selected ready to go for us. Once you have all articles you wish to include in the newsletter added into the newsletter builder, you also do have the ability to click and drag to rearrange them. So if one of those new articles you really did like and you wanted front and center, you can simply click and drag it right to that front spot, and now it will be the first article in the newsletter. Once you're all set with the articles, we can then move over to the customization tab. In the customization tab, this is where we'll be able to make any of the final edits to the newsletter, including the newsletter template, which by default will be the 2-column framed, but you can always change that up to one of the other options if you wish. You have the newsletter title, as well as the greeting. With the greeting here, this is what's going to individualize each newsletter to the person it's being sent to. With this example, it would say, "Hello, Rob," if it was sent to me, or "Hello, whoever that person's first name is." Finally, down at the very bottom, we do have the message, and this is where you can change the actual body paragraph of that introduction message on the newsletter. Now, for some of you, under a compliance workflow, the newsletter title and the message may be grayed out. If that's the case, it means your compliance department right now is not allowing any edits to that section. So for yourself, you'll just be able to make edits to the articles. Once the customization tab is all set for you, you can then hop over to the preview tab to make sure the newsletter does look exactly the way you would like it to look. And when you're ready, we can then move to the send tab. Now, for those of you who are on a compliance workflow and have made some changes to the newsletter that require review, you'll see a button just like you see here, the green submit for review button. That's going to allow you to send this right off to your compliance department. When they approve or decline it, you'll get an automated email back to yourself letting you know the result. So you'll know if you have to fix it or if it's ready to be sent out. And then you do have the ability to add certain recipients to the newsletter. Now, by default, with the weekly newsletter, it's going to be sent out to all of your contacts. However, if you do wish to narrow the scope of it, you can always adjust exactly who it's being sent to in the recipients tab. The subject, this is simply the subject line of the email that the newsletter gets sent in. By default, it's going to be the title of the newsletter, but you do have the ability to change that if you'd like as well. And then finally, we have the label. With the label, it is not client-facing and is really just there so you can write yourself a little note or reminder and can easily access it in the future. Now, depending on your level of automation, the right side of your screen will have one of two options. If you're on semi-automated, your screen will look exactly as you see here with a green approve button, because for your newsletter, it will only be sent out if it gets your stamp of approval. So just make sure to click the green approve button, and that will schedule your newsletter to be sent out automatically on your behalf. For those of you who are on the fully automated setting, your screen will look like this one here, with a red decline button instead of that green approve option. For yourself, no need to click this unless you don't want this newsletter to go out. For those of you who have already got compliance approval on your newsletter, or those who are not under a compliance workflow, you will also see the two buttons down below, the ability to send yourself an email preview ahead of time, and the ability to manually send out this newsletter. With this button, you can choose to send it right away or schedule it for a later date and time. If you would just like to save the changes that we made here today, in the bottom right corner, we have our save and close button, which by clicking on it, will save all of those customizations you made. For those of you that would prefer written instructions, you can access our support.advisorstream.com website, where we have a number of different help section articles on all the different areas of AdvisorStream, including the contents of today's call, which can be found in the newsletter and email section, and right up at the top, how do I edit my newsletter? This page will bring you step by step through all of the same instructions that we covered on today's video, but in a written form with pictures and GIFs to go along with it. Thank you very much for joining today, and I hope you found this video helpful. If, however, you do have more questions on managing your AdvisorStream account, please do not hesitate to reach out to the Client Success team or head over to our support center, where you will find tons of tips, tricks, and best practices.